I'm kind of pissed about it, to be honest. I'm kind of pissed about something that's happened to me. That I feel like I've really tried hard to stay above water. Hey friends, this is Sonny Davis. I know it's been a super long time since I made a video with my face. I seem to have taken to not hiding, but trying something new where I'm not kind of out in the front row. So I've been working diligently every day on another YouTube channel, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes, that's faceless, where I don't have to show my face. However, I feel today's a little different. And today, I feel like presenting a stream of consciousness due to some changes that have been arising in the last few months, weeks, and days, where I feel the apex of what I feel I need to share is coming up. So this is completely unrehearsed. I don't have anything prepared, and I'm just winging it. A spontaneous dialogue with Sonny that I hope you'll listen. I hope you'll take the time to really contemplate and address perhaps some of these things that may be happening for you, and perhaps somebody that might need this. And so if you are new to this channel, I really appreciate you stopping by. What I am looking for is in the way of support are just a like, a comment, or a subscription. That's how we play this game, friends. And I'm the one that does it too. I scan and scroll through different videos without a trace. And so I'm asking you humbly, please don't leave this video without a trace, because I'm reaching out to you from a little bit of a desperate place right now. Even though my mind and my heart are in the right place, I'm still experiencing some struggle, and I feel that this is the only way I can reach out in these pandemic times. These channels are open to us, and we just have to take advantage. It's just waiting for us to take this bull by the horns and go, all right, I'm gonna do it. So I've been shy about sharing myself. I've been shy about speaking up about certain things. You're probably wondering, get on with it, Sonny. What's going on? So I think I'll start going back a little bit and giving you a little bit of an update. At the beginning of the pandemic, there was some big changes that happened for me and my partner, where life just took control of us, and we didn't feel like we had any say or any control. The truth of the matter is, so I experience a degenerative neuromuscular condition. And although I don't like to believe I've got that, there may have been many years where I feel I might have been bypassing my disease. And let's call it for what it's worth. Medically and scientifically, doctors would call what I experience muscular dystrophy, or even more specifically, CMT, which stands for charcotmarietoothdisease. It's a permanent, progressive, degenerative disorder. And at times, I feel great. And at other times, which are more often than not, I feel chronically tired. I sometimes feel that I'm on the verge of just sinking in to depression. And I know what that looks like and feels like. I've seen it in others. And I know not to let myself sink that far down, because it's slippery slope. And I know firsthand of friends and unfortunately family that has got the better of them. And I know for a person like me, that can happen way too quickly and really bad. So I'm fighting. I'm really struggling to stay above water in terms of my mental and spiritual wellness and well-being. Thank God I had some really deep awakening experiences in my early 20s that really showed to me that what arises and what you experience in the mental and emotional realms are merely appearances. And so I had many experiences where I awoke to the truth of what is being presented before me. And so the medicine of that allowed me to step back and make the choice. Am I gonna slip down the slippery slide of self-importance and victimhood? Or look the other way and practice non-attachment, letting go, an almost positive disillusionment to what's going on in the world. I completely understand points of view. As an able-bodied person listening to this now, do you understand perspectives and points of views in their totality? Can you understand the perspective of a person with a disability during these times, during these pandemic battles, the mental and spiritual and emotional warfare that is being waged upon us right now? Do you think there's something out there that's being suppressed upon you? You may not think so. You may think that your freedoms are taken away due to the fact that you have to wear a mask. Do you think we're all being forced to shelter in place because there's an incredibly contagious, fear-based illness that has been thrust upon humanity in such a brutal way that you feel that you need to shut yourself down and hide and sequester yourself emotionally or acquiesce to the government? Well, let me tell you, that able-bodied person within me thinks so, but then there's a part of me, an aspect of me, that disabled part of me, and I'm telling the truth when I say that. I'm not bypassing or trying to slap a positive sticker of all is well with me in the world of trying to navigate this place from a wheelchair. It's not all good. And everybody's perspectives are skewed in such a way that they're listening to the media. This is all coming out spontaneously, and I'm going to just allow myself to speak because it's a meditation. And we've got a whole lot to talk about. What is meditation after all? It's just the emptying of the mind. And how do we empty the mind? By observing things. By observing and labeling Because in the act of labeling something, we become mindful to it. So you're asking, whoa, we just shifted gears there. Mindfulness meditation, how did we just get to that from, the truth and disability and the pandemic? Well, to me, they're all mixed into this huge milieu of human soup and emotions and everything that's going on in the consciousness of humanity right now. Up to now has been just so distorted and kinked. And so, yes, I do believe there's a great awakening happening. I believe the veils of truth are parting. And people are starting to see the light. People are starting to see, hey, something's been going on here for decades that I have been acquiescing to, that I've been saying yes to because of the conditioning. The conditioning through mainstream media, books, and spiritual and mental warfare. What are you allowing yourself to believe that is non-truth? I can appreciate the conversations that are happening these days. People want to know the truth. People want to fight for their rights. As a disabled individual, I'm having to spend hours upon hours thinking about what I can do to create and design a life that doesn't involve having to fight for my rights. Can you go there just for a minute? I'm asking you to really alter your perspective, because yes, that's what it's all about. But don't bypass the perspective from a person that has disabilities. Now, disabled, is not a bad word. I want you to look back on all the things that you've seen and read and all the movies you've watched. Perhaps it was just that Disney movie or some harmless cartoon that depicted the bad guy as a disabled person. Ask yourself, the pirates that you see in movies, are the pirates with the one wooden leg, one tooth, the speech impediment, the blindness? Tell me, has that stuck with you? Is that person still the bad guy? As harmless as it may seem, those seeds of consciousness were planted in early age for us. And to this day, a lot of us still see disabled people as something to be looked down on, victims, or some kind of charity case. If you feel you've been doing the work, looking for truth, searching for answers, meditating, if you feel that you're someone that has arrived at a place of openness and awakening and illumination, thank you so much for doing that good work. Because it takes a warrior to face themselves, to look within themselves and ask the hard questions and step forth on a path to do the hard work. But let me ask you this. As awakened as you are, and as mindful as you may think you are, have you considered the perspective from a disabled point of view? In fact, let me ask you this. Have you gone as far as to include your disabled friends or family in your life to the point where you've gone out of your way to make yourself accessible, to make your home accessible? Whether you have friends or not that use a wheelchair, have you ramped your front door? To me, that's showing the world just how inclusive your spirituality is. Whether you have or not, and you say just how inclusive you want to be. What the world needs now is a radical inclusivity. You say these words, and they may land on ears open and willing and needing to learn that truth. Yes, I'm at the stage where I should start considering oneness. And yet, you say these words and you can't even create an accessible home to welcome everybody. I see a lot of talk about radical inclusivity and not bypassing certain emotions and things that come up for us. Yeah, don't bypass that. But I'm going to ask you, as the able-bodied person you know yourself to be, you can open your mind further by considering these perspectives. In fact, what I always like to recommend for a daily dose of good medicine, but it's hard medicine, and not many people like to hear it. In fact, you listening to this now probably don't want to hear this, but I'm reaching out to you, compelling you to become an ally for the disabled people of this world. Have yourself a chair-aware day. Get yourself into a wheelchair for a day. Put on oven mitts so you can't operate your hands as you normally would for a day. Try getting around an environment, a society that is systemically designed to segregate and create minorities. So much is in the news today about Black Lives Matter. What else? All these movements that are basically everyone's just saying, hey, don't forget about us. Well, there's some struggles and some fights that have been going on for decades in silent struggle that continue to push against capitalism. capitalism is enemy number one when it comes to disabled people. Do you notice how I don't say the disabled community? Because that is creating separation. Yes, we are a community. However, what I am is more than that. I have been given the gift of this body, but what I am is so much more than that. Layers upon layers of consciousness, personality, what we think of as ego, and we'll get into that more. Maybe I'll do another talk on that. This is the first time I'm kind of breaking out and have really decided to talk about something because I'm kind of pissed about it, to be honest. I'm kind of pissed about something that's happened to me. That I feel like I've really tried hard to stay above water. Come on. Come on. At the beginning of the pandemic, it was almost that time for me to fly back to my home in Canada because it was spring. And the hot, humid, rainy season had arrived here in Mexico, where I abide in the winter times, just because I have a chronic illness that in the cold weather exasperates and just makes 10 times worse. And that over time I felt that I couldn't handle anymore. I was sinking deeper into an enclosed, claustrophobic, not being able to move, not being able to experience a freedom that I so desired. Because I couldn't get out in the snow. I couldn't go outside because the cold weather would intensely find its way through gloves and layers of pants and socks, and I did everything I could to stay warm. But you gotta know, my shrinking nerves and muscles are so close to my bones, are exposing them to the immediate environment. I can't get cold. I mean, I can't stay warm in a shopping center, in a grocery store, going down the fresh food section or the frozen food section without immediately starting to seize up. That's how quick and how real this body responds to the immediate environment. So I've been coming down to Mexico medicinally and therapeutically because I need to escape the dark den of despair that happened to me in the winter months in Canada. Do I need to justify that? No, because there's many people that do that. So my life has been split. I feel like I live a double life, trying to set up an existence in two places, which a lot of people do. But I need the support to be able to do that. Love and compassion go out to those people that, especially those of my disabled brothers and sisters who can't do that. And to those who are living just on the poverty line. who are unable to even get inside a home in the winter. So this isn't complaining. I want you to know that I cultivate gratitude moment to moment as an approach to life, because, not only because I have to, but because it's true. There are so many things to be grateful for, and I know that. Conversely, the struggle is real. The theater of life is demanding attention for all of us. Every one of us has been called to a new depth. Tell me what you're doing these days. What are you doing to stay afloat? What are you doing to be happy? And so, for many years, I was receiving support. I was receiving financial support from the country and the province and the city that I was born and raised. I applied to a program that many disabled individuals go on and yet find themselves having to constrict their being just because they need to follow rules. And to a person like me, who, if you don't know who I am, I'm here to tell you right now, I have tasted transcendental freedom. And when you taste transcendental freedom, there's no going back. There's no going back into smallness, feebleness, meekness, and certainly not wallowing in victimhood. It's easy to. It's super easy to dip your toe back into the jacuzzi of woe is me. Just to, feel the warmth of help. Somebody help me. But wheelchair users and disabled individuals, people with a chronic illness, deaf, blind, these are the true warriors of life. Let me say that again. If you know somebody that is disabled, and I want to really dive deep into this, because if you're watching this and you identify yourself as abled, it's not good and it's not bad. I'm inviting you to consider another identity, disabled, which is neither good or bad either. I'm inviting you to remove how you feel about disability. I'm compelling and asking you to really feel deeply into Do I feel sorry for my disabled brothers and sisters? Do I feel bad for them? Disability is not a bad word. So this support, this disability support that I had been receiving for years, that I had come to rely on, that an aspect of my life had become codependent on, because I had been so used to receiving energy that allowed me to stay just above the poverty line. And most people can't even do that, because it's just living so close to the poverty line. And housing is difficult to get into. Affordable housing, disabled. The bane of my existence is having to search and look for something that I can live in that makes sense. And when I say makes sense, I mean physically, I'm not spending or expending more energy than I have to trying to live and trying to get around and navigate where I live. I've spent years on waiting lists trying to get in to a closet of an apartment where I can't have any friends over, where you have to meet with a worker once a week, that your entire disability check goes towards your accommodations with a little bit left over for some food. There's a whole lot to talk about in this subject, and I know I'm meandering here, and I think that's just fine. Let's just do that, because I can't stay stuck to one certain topic, because they're all what I wish to share. Everything is related to what I'm trying to share and get out, because I feel like this needs to be said, and I feel somebody in the community of disabled people needs to speak up. And so what this comes down to is capitalism. Capitalism. And because of capitalism, there was this pandemic. Because of politics, a deadly virus was spread across the earth and unleashed upon everybody. And because of this virus, I couldn't get home a number of months ago, because flights were canceled, flights were grounded, and it didn't make sense for what I was going back to, because I was already struggling to maintain myself. Now, my friends and my family who are watching this really don't know what I've been going through. They all want to think that I've got myself together, that everything looks pretty peachy for me. But I'm guilty about not sharing certain aspects of my life that have been really hard. And unfortunately, some of my friends and most of my family don't know and don't care. I've lost friends because of this. We don't talk anymore. I've lost family who I feel that were so distant and didn't care anyways, who didn't show support and were so judgmental of my lifestyle. But you know what? I can't change the fact that I experience a permanent disability. It's important to make that distinction between a temporary, broken ankle, or perhaps an ulcer of some kind where you're getting treatments and you're going to the hospital, but you're moving towards healing. You're moving towards becoming better. Well, my friends, I'd like to say that I've been on the incline. Everything's getting better for me. And maybe, once upon a time, maybe I was saying that, like, sure, having a disability isn't that bad. It's fine, in fact. Look at me. I'm able to do all these things. Travel all these places. Appear confident. And maybe that was my reality then. And I still feel confident. But the truth is with me all the time. The truth is speaking to me all the time. The truth is God. God is truth, and the truth that we see before us immediately is the reality. And there's no method, there's no therapy, there's no cure, there is nothing that is going to put an end or put a stop to what I feel and how I feel about this body. I love myself because I have to. Because I want to. I want, for example, I want a new wheelchair. I need a new wheelchair because my current one is breaking down. So if you feel inspired at all by my share today and you want to reach out and just support, I'll leave my personal PayPal link down below, because where I'm getting at is I don't have anything coming in anymore. Because my flights were canceled, I've had to fight this entire time since May for what I was receiving and am not anymore. Because I'm not back in the town, the province, the country that I was born and raised in, and can no longer maintain my residence. Rules are rules. You have to be living ordinarily in that place to receive the benefits. Now, I am allowed out of the country. That's why I come down here to Mexico. But don't think that it's all like sunny beaches and margaritas. Well, first of all, I don't drink alcohol. Secondly, I can't access the beaches here. In case you didn't know what being disabled is like, just ask yourself, oh, this must be close to what it's like being in quarantine. Disabled people just laugh at the people that complain about having to lock down in quarantine. Because you know what? That's been our lives. Welcome to our world. We got a whole lot to talk about. I'm just getting started. And so if you're with me this far, thank you so much. Please show your love by liking and subscribing. Right now, because of YouTube's algorithm, that's how we play this game. And that's all I can do from where I'm at, is to reach out for likes and subscribes. And you know what else YouTube has just done? They're putting, this has just happened, a new rule. They're putting commercials now on small YouTube channels that haven't even monetized themselves yet. This is such a ripoff. Do you know what that means? Okay, so if you're just a small YouTube channel just getting started, you have to reach certain thresholds, milestones. You have to have at least 4,000 public watch hours across your channel and at least 1,000 subscribers within a year, 12 months, to be considered for the YouTube Partner Program in order to monetize your channel. So once you've reached that threshold, you can apply for advertisements on your videos. Not anymore. YouTube has just put out that they're going to start putting commercials whether you've reached these thresholds or not, whether you've been monetized or not. And so your viewers, the few that I have that I've been able to build, they're going to have to sit through commercials now. Do you realize how friggin' annoying that is? I just have my disability cut off and I'm scrambling, having to build from scratch a YouTube channel. Luckily, it's something I love, music, and in the genre of meditation, because I feel I need to. I feel it's therapy for me, and I hope to God it helps somebody else out there. I hope to God that this YouTube channel that I'm building from scratch, which I'll leave a link down in the description, is helping somebody. Because I tell you, it's a long, slow road. And I've just been getting started. And now YouTube is making it even harder with their policies. Can you get it? Can you just feel me? Friends have bailed ship on me. Family have bailed ship on me. My country, my province, the disabled support money that I was receiving bailed ship on me. I couldn't get out of here, and so I've been fighting for 6 months for some kind of relief, and I'm barely staying above water here. I'm experiencing disability in a diminishing way. Things that I used to be able to do are getting extremely more difficult. And little things like typing. Yeah, I know it's not a big deal for you, but it takes a lot of energy to get things done these days. Thank you for watching.